Alrighty, everybody. Welcome back to Manager's Review Week 9 today. Uh, it's another good week. Some guys continue to do things amazing. Some guys locked in, notably Jacob Mizorowski. I mean, the guy looks like he's gonna win the Cy Young, and Ronald Acuna is back. So, without further ado, let's get into it. How this is going to go? We're going to do a waiver wire segment. And well, first I'm going to show you guys how to read a savant page. I'm going to start with hitters. That'll be the first move. And then I'll go in to do some wire talk. It's getting thin out there, especially for pitchers, but we're going to try. And then I'm going to go through the matchups like we always do. And I'm going to start to point out some guys maybe you could cycle through on your roster. We are well past Memorial Day, so we've got sample sizes large enough to really start evaluating these hitters and see what's going on. So first, I'm going to share my screen here. Share that. All right. So I was looking at Evan Carter. But so basically, what I do when I get to a spot page, right? What am I looking for? Why am I there? Well, I'm trying to figure out what type of hitter this guy is first and foremost, and how good he is at the things that he's up to. So these columns here, all the way through square up percent, this is all contact metrics. This measures contact. This down here measures the plate approach aspect. So this is off the bat. This is when a hitter hits the ball, this top part. And this is when he doesn't. This is what he's doing when he doesn't hit the ball. And it makes reading hitter pages pretty easy. So Evan Carter excels in some plate approach aspects. He walks a lot. He does not swing at pitches out of the zone, which is your chase rate. But when he hits the ball, it doesn't do very much. That's all this blue up here. What these numbers here mean. So over here is the actual stats. He has a 25% whiff rate, for example, here on the right. Now, this 45 here is the percentile. So compared to the league, if you were to plot everybody's out, what percentile would he be in? He's in the 45th percentile. He's not quite league average, just under league average in how often he swings and misses at a ball. You can see the worst is his XBA. So out of basically all of his contact metrics are amalgamated, and some formula spits out what his batting average should be based on all of his batting balls. It's a model that produces this, and it doesn't like him. That model, it says he's going to bat for a low average. Now that can work for some guys, cannot work for others. Evan Carter is a guy who I don't think this works for. Let's go to a hitter whose plate approach is like whose page, who they really show who they are. So on this page, and that would be Luis Ariz. We've got ones and hundreds. That's all we've got on this page, right? He is amazing at plate approach. Now, he does a couple of other things, contact things well, but he is amazing plate approach wise. He makes tons of contact. He does not miss the ball when he swings at it. He does not strike out. He also doesn't walk. But when he hits the ball, it doesn't go very well. He sweet spots it very well, which is basically the middle part of the barrel, right? So if you divided a cross section, it would be the middle of a bat that he hits it in. But he doesn't hit it very hard. And obviously it loves him for batting average. He's very good, but he doesn't hit very many singles. It does not like him for WOBA, which is a more comprehensive stat as far as the offensive output goes. Let's look at a guy who's sort of the opposite here. Man. There's a couple guys I'm thinking about. Let's do Schwarber. See, he mashes the ball lots, but what of these ones down here are because his plate approach, well, it's good for how much power he produces. It's not stellar, right? The great thing about Schwarber is that he takes his walks. He's got a great eye. He doesn't chase very often, but his he misses tons. He swings and misses tons. So his plate approach is fine. For our league, walk percentage is very important. You want guys who walk and guys who do not strike out. Schwarber, of course, does both, so kind of gets put out in the wash a little bit. But his contact metrics are so good, and he hits so many home runs, it sort of doesn't matter. But that's just generally how I read. But so what happens when a hitter's profile doesn't really? There's other stuff going on right here, right? We've summarized his contact, the quality of his contact, and we've summarized his plate approach. But that's not all there is to hitting, right? So let's go. This is one of my favorite examples. Now, what's up with this guy? Paredes. We could say immediately his plate approach is great, but his xWOB is not maybe as low as his contact metrics would suggest, right? He's not nearly as good at making contact as Luis Ariz. So where does this guy derive all his value from? Well, that's what the rest of the page is going on here. Another interesting thing here is to go standard. Look at your batting average at balls in play. This is another thing I do. So the first thing I do when I'm looking at BABIP, which is batting average on balls in play, this is a luck stat. This tells you how lucky or unlucky a hitter is getting after they've made contact with the ball. So the first thing I do is I look at all of the previous year's BABIP to try to establish a baseline. So I'm looking at this and I can say, okay, Paredes usually sits around 260 BABIPs. Not great. That's pretty low. And he's right in line with that. So his production thus far in the season has not been lucky or unlucky. It's been right on his career average to what we might expect. But we go down here. Oh, I need to change it. So yeah. So you want that on StatCast for that, but you want it on standard if you want to look at that. This right here, it's highlighted in big red. It won't be red, but Paredes is really good at. That's pull aired percent. This is another stat I like to look at. When a hitter isn't making sense, right? I'm looking at his page and it doesn't look like it's all that. Well, this is the first thing I go to see if he might be beating the contact projected somehow. Paredes is so good at pulling the ball in the air. He doesn't need to hit it that hard, right? He does not need to hit it 450 down the line. He only needs to hit it 315, 330 in the Cubs Stadium in Brooklyn. So he angles the ball amazingly off the bat. That does not translate in these bars that we love to look at up here. Nowhere to be found. Of course, we can look at his hit spray plot, and that tells us a little bit. Notice also our home runs are to the pull side. But yeah, that's sort of what I've liked to look at for hitters. Just the dirty here. So another thing I can do is just scroll down. Plate discipline. This is also interesting to look at. A guy like Murakami is very interesting for this stuff. So what I like to look is at zone contact, right? How often when he swings is he making contact with the ball in the zone? Around 80-ish, 82 to 5, I believe, is league average. Like a guy like Ariz is going to be 95 or plus. And then, 77 to 85, I think, is somewhere around the average. So Paredes doesn't excel in this stat at all. But you guys should probably look that up to double check me on those averages. But a guy like Murakami's down at 68%. He swings and misses so much, it's actually concerning. But if any other hitter that didn't have that power, they would drown instantly. But that's a little bit on how to read StatCast pages there. So let's just go ahead and jump into the waiver wire segment. So we're going to do hitters first here. And the first guy I'd like to highlight is Curtis Mead. Mead is a first baseman and a third baseman. We'll just bring up his page here. And it looks pretty good. He hasn't been playing a ton. He didn't play a ton early in the season, but he's getting everyday playing time with, I believe, Brady House getting sent back down. So, this is encouraging, right? He's got great plate discipline, pretty damn good contact metrics. He's xWOBA loves him. And on top of that, he's pulling the ball in the air. So we should expect some good production just based on this. And if we go to his standard, I bet you he's getting a little unlucky. 250 BABIP, and you look back, he's got BABIPs running around 300, which is most of the times league average for guys is 300 on the BABIP side. So if it's under that, unless their past history dictates otherwise, it's a bit suspicious. So he's getting unlucky. On top of that, I just like to watch his playing time. This is a guy, especially if you need third base help. I'd really Uh, I think he should be picked up. Next would be Spencer Horwitz. And these are the two guys that I think really should be on rosters. Now, I dropped Horowitz, so I might pick him back up. But one thing you should know when evaluating hitters on Savant for our page is that while both sides are important, one points to ceiling and one points to floor, right? So if you have a guy who's got great contract metrics, he's going to have a good floor. You know, Schwarber 2 weeks ago or last week got me -5 points. Now, some weeks he's gotten me 40, but that's a lot of volatility. And that's because his plate approach is bad, because strikeouts are -points. Now, you look down here, Spencer Horwitz does not strike out. So he's got a great floor, but he makes terrible contact. So his ceiling is very, very low, right? This is a guy who I don't think would ever see 3 points per game ever, except for in small sample sizes. But he's putting up 2.7 right now. I don't know if that's going to stay, but hell, he might have a 2.5 point per game floor, and that's useful in our league. So he plays first. He's only a first baseman. He's batting 289, 7 home runs. And he gets everyday at bats, and that's really valuable, especially from the hitter waiver wire right now. High floor, low ceiling guy. Now, the exact opposite of that will be Edwin Arroyo. Now, this is another site I use, Prospect Savant. Now, this is for guys that have not made it to the majors. It's the same thing as Baseball Savant, but it just is for minor leaguers. I don't like it quite as much. It's got a lot of other stuff on here that I don't understand, like Z contact percent. Zone contact percent. Okay, yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff I'm not interested in looking at, but you can see it's a lot of red. Now, the two blue bars are two of the most important blue bars for our league. He doesn't walk and he chases stunts. This is going to be extremely volatile. This is the opposite of Spencer Horwitz. This is a guy who's freaking swinging at everything. He makes great contact, but he probably has a strikeout problem. Now, in the minors, he didn't. But in the majors, that probably won't shake out. Now, he's going to be playing everyday shortstop for the Reds while Ellie De La Cruz is hurt. He's a well-regarded prospect. And if you're looking for a lottery ticket, this guy could be it. But other than that, I'm skeptical as to how valuable he's going to be in our league. Now, other guys that are out there that I think maybe you want to cycle through, maybe you want to play the hot hand. These guys are hot. Jake Berger, I mean, he continues to match. I mentioned him last week, but somebody should pick him up while he's hot. He's going to hurt you when he's not. So Chase Mydroff, same story. He's been on a little bit of a tear. Troy Johnston, I believe, got dropped to waivers by Will, maybe. Somebody might have him. I don't know. He's good. The Rockies are good playing at home when they've got a lot of home games. Same with Jake McCarthy. He's a speed guy who's probably going to bat for a higher average in course. Not a ton of power, but maybe he's worth picking up if he starts to do something. Laureano, I think, is a really good floor play. He's probably not going to knock your socks off, but he maybe will deliver 2.5 points a game. I expect him to deliver above that for the rest of the season. I don't know. Maybe not. Let's move on to pitching. And man, is it bad out there, guys. Holy cow. It caused me to take a deeper dive into some other players. So the first guy, Chad Patrick. Reading a pitcher's baseball savant is a little bit tougher. But this guy, man, I don't have a ton to say about him other than he's a guy and he's a live arm and he plays for the Brewers. That's literally it. I don't think there's anything in his profile that's particularly exciting, but the Brewers are doing stuff with his pitch mix, changing up how he's using his pitches. Yeah, you can see there. They've got a new plan versus lefties, more fastball usage. So take a flyer, maybe. He's the guy on the waiver wire I think is going to be most useful moving forward. Moving on. So I actually took a look at Trevor McDonald because I've been saying that he's a fraud forever. And Savant is a little bit nicer than him. the Giants defense is not great. And this is a guy who could really use a great defense. Uh, I mean, Matt Chapman's good, but the rest of them, meh. Uh, he doesn't walk anybody. He doesn't give up barrels. He gets hit. Um, but this is the killer. 60% ground ball rate. Oh my God. I'm sorry, Trevor McDonald. Maybe I hadn't respected your game. Um, Especially in Oracle, that's going to be really useful. And he's got a little bit of extension too. Now, a 3.76 ERA, I am not sure about that going forward. These ground ball guys are very volatile. I remember Bryce Elder, same thing. Uh, he's got a 4.34 ERA now. So Savant is saying that there's good starts on the way. I would be very careful with this dude, especially against teams that elevate the ball. Teams like the Angels. The Angels strike out loads, but this guy's not getting a ton of whiffs. I'd be worried against a team like that. I mean, I'd start him probably against the Angels. I'm starting anybody right now. I'm starting Gantillo against the Yankees tonight. So pray for me. But I totally forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, maybe a bit more useful than first meets the eye. Now just some dudes. Zach Gallen and Andrew Payne are the only guys left on the wire that I have a shred of interest in past the matchup. They're guys, they will probably get innings. They might get blown up. Stream at your own risk. And then there's a stash. Joe Boyle, he's in AAA. He's doing some interesting things. He's just a tall guy who throws hard. If he can limit some walks, I'd be interested in him. But now that we're done with that, let's go ahead and move on to some of the matchups. So, first one I summarized was me versus Gray. Braxton Ashcraft is genius. He got me 43 points. Basayo also did absolutely awesome. He got me 28, I believe. Yeah, 26. That's great. David Peterson was terrible. I dropped him. So was Cantillo. All alone to him. But so I'm going to go through everybody's matchups. I'm going to, for other people, if I think there are guys on your roster who are dead weight, I'm going to say that you should probably drop them. I'll try to be as specific as possible when talking about guys and how I've evaluated them. So Dalton rushing on Gray's team is kind of a drag. You need to go get a catcher who plays every day. Gabriel Moreno. Go pick him up instead. Imanag as a whole, he's been terrible. Same with Connor Freeland with how bad the pitching wire is. Robleski, man, keeps getting away with it. 30 freaking points. I mean, oh my gosh. Let's just look at his Savant page. Like, how? The only thing he doesn't do is walk people. No whiffs. Bottom 5%. They are touching him. And it's not even that weak of contact. And they've got all freaking day to see the balls that's coming to the plate because he doesn't extend. He doesn't get a lot of ground balls. He doesn't really limit hard contact. He's league average at limiting barrels. It's like, what does he actually do? I don't know, but he does something. So, like I said earlier about Robleski, I guess just keep riding him. If he's getting you points, he's getting you points. So now we're going to move on to Ryan versus Owen. Owen put up a good fight, but Ryan ended up taking it in the end. It was a close one. The Murakami injury really hurt Owen. He was his top scorer for that week. He scored like 28 points. So that is a real shame. Is PCA back? PCA had a really good week last week, kind of quietly. 25 points. So hopefully he's starting to get hot. Aranda and Warren were absolutely wonderful from Ryan. Those are guys, that's what you love to see. Guys who you draft with not a ton of faith, or you pick up without not a ton of faith. I mean, I like Aranda. Aranda was good. But stepping up and really, really doing it. So, unfortunately, Spencer Miles, Bryce Elder, Palante, they had bad weeks. That's just the state of your pitching staff, Owen. Pick your spots a little bit more carefully. And then I think at the end, I'm going to, because the pitching waiver wire is so bad, I'm going to synthesize some teams who I think are good matchups. People don't play your pitchers against unless they're aces. Um, but I guess I don't know. It's a judgment call at the end of the day. Now, as far as people who's on whose team, who I think should be dropped, Owen Soler, probably Cam Smith. I mean, you can keep him if you want. He's a holdover. I don't know if there's a guy with more upside than him on the wire, so maybe Luke Rayleigh, straight platoon. If you're not paying attention to his matchups, don't put him on your team. You need for there to be a lot of righties on the schedule for him to be productive. So, but Soler probably can go. Rayleigh definitely can go. So moving on, we got Sam versus Oz. This was a 90-point smackdown by Sam. Kind of ugly. So let's go ahead and take a look at this matchup here. Happ, my guy Ian Happ, an incredible 37 points, along with Andy Paez to top the lists for Sam. He had three guys get over 30: Brian Wu, Andy Paez, and Ian Happ. Despite the 48-point week for Ronald Acuna, Oz doesn't quite have the gas here, and that's mainly because of a couple bad pitching starts. Nolan McLean, unfortunately, -5. Ranger Suarez had a bad start. Ryan Nelson didn't do great. On top of Trey Turner continuing to underperform. So as far as guys that you really don't need, there isn't really anybody besides Josh Bell who I don't think deserves to be on a roster between these two teams. Even guys like Rooker and Green, who are really, searching for it right now at the plate, are definitely holds on Sam's side. But Turner and McLean sold, Rooker and Green are cold. So that's the story of that matchup. Let's move on. Brooks versus Chris. I mean, this was the marquee matchup of the week. This one came down to the final game of the night, Cubs versus Cardinals, and Brooks needed Bregman or Herrera to get him 3 points, and they were able to do it. Now, on the whole, neither of those guys did particularly amazing this week. They both got below 20 points, so not going to knock your socks off. Serviceable. But the real winners on Brooks' side, Jaron Duran, O'Neal Cruz, Brooks Lee. I mean, that guy has just been good this year. I'm impressed with that draft. But really, Trevor McGill, back in the closer role for Milwaukee. He's getting it done. Massive 28 points on the week. 4 innings pitched, 3 saves. You can't ask for much more from a bullpen arm in our league. That's pretty nuts. But even with that, the starting pitching let Brooks down. I mean, bad starts, not to mention Jeff Hoffman. I mean, Kahanowitz, Kyle Freeland, those are guys I would be churning and burning on the wire for matchups for them. Don't even with the state of the pitching waiver wire as it is, they aren't dudes who I'm concerned about rostering. Tyler Mahle as well. It's unfortunate he's on the IL. Just keep him for his matchups at home later. But Benintendi probably got to go as well from Brooks' side. And then over for Chris, I mean, Gavin Sheets, bit of an edge case there. He struggles mightily against lefties, and he does get some at-bats, but he's mainly a righty masher and is sort of platooned. Evan Carter, we looked at a Savant page earlier. It's an interesting profile. Not one that I think in our league is going to be very great. You need to be more Luis Arraez in your contact and have a better bat control than Evan Carter is if you're not going to be producing amazing exit velocities. So now, Julie versus Will and Kyle. This was another just total beatdown. 384 to 291 in favor of Julie. So after Julie gets beat by me, he comes back with a vengeance for Will. And he was headed by some pretty impressive pitching performances from guys like Sean Burke, Tatsuya Imai, who both had 2-star weeks, and then Ben Brown, who threw a gem of a 7 innings, not to mention Cam Slitler, who's just rolling as always. But, I wouldn't expect to get points from those guys moving forward. Uh, I'd be very matchup aware with them. Our wire is so bad, I'd definitely hold on, but just some headiness there. Tread carefully, Julie. Um, just like what happened to Will, Bailey Over had a few great starts, but man, the baseball savant was right. The regression came and hit. He got nuked. Bad start and a week for Will overall. Now, guys that I think should be on or you can drop would be Jacob Barcy for Julie. I don't know if that guy is really going to be as useful in our league as maybe I thought at one point. Ildemar Vargas, you can hold on to him if you want. Second base on the wire isn't really pretty right now. But I don't expect him to be a superstar like he has in the first half. Garrett Mitchell, same deal. He's a catcher. No, he's an outfielder. There's some more interesting outfield people, I think, on the wire right now. Loriano, for instance, I think I'd rather roster him. And then TJ Friedel, again, just not another guy. Probably get somebody else in the outfield that's maybe a little bit better. Jack and Connor, Connor won handily. Jack, man, the lineup. Go pillage the waiver wire, my child. Go pillage it. It's your oyster. Um, but alas, no win. And then as far as who did well in this matchup, who didn't, Jack Connick had a great week from Michael Harris. And then the good guys on his roster all did fine. And then Jack just didn't even use half of his roster really. That quick like lineup button can do wonders for you, Jack. So trust. Connor, on the other hand, his team looked like the freaking Bronx Bombers. James Wood, 37 points. Whoosh. Shane McClanahan, 2-star week, 30 points. That hurts me. Ernie Clement also with a sneaky 27 points. My gosh. Decent production for most of your pitchers. Andres Munoz had a rough week. Overall, great. Guys, you could drop. I mean, Gary Sanchez, not really a guy I'm interested in rostering. Go pick up Gabriel Moreno. He's going to be better. And Teoscar Hernandez. I mean, oof, yeesh. Rough start to the year. Now he's hurt. I mean, if you got the IL slots, I guess hold on to him. But man, that's going to be rough. Now I'm going to talk about, because the waiver wire said that, I'm going to talk about some streamers, guys each day that I think are that have a higher than 30% chance of not exploding if you put them in your lineup. Today is already underway, so let's go to league. So what you do, you go to the league settings or the player settings, sort to pitchers, and then you're going to want to go down here to where, you guys can't see that, whatever. 2026 stats, click schedule. So let's see. We've got tomorrow's June 3rd, right? Yes. Zach Gallen against the Dodgers, and not doing that one. Andrew Painter on the 6th. Is that Sunday? That's Saturday. Against the White Sox on Saturday. That's a probably decent start. I wouldn't mind starting him there. Peter Lambert against the Athletics. That's scary. I wouldn't. Anthony Kay against Philadelphia. Good luck. Jameson Taillon against San Francisco on Friday. That's on Sunday. That one might actually be useful. That's a Sunday start I would not mind starting myself. Brady Singer against St. Louis if you've got a death wish. Giolito against Philadelphia. Go ahead, gamble your life away, gamble your points away. Kaiway Tang against Pittsburgh. I might be open to that. 30% sure. Mike Burrows against the Athletics on Sunday at your own risk. If you're desperate, I wouldn't hate it. Patrick Corbin against Atlanta tomorrow. Don't touch that. Walker Buehler against Philadelphia tomorrow. No, thank you. Shane Rohan at Colorado the 6th. I've heard some things about him. He might not be the worst. That would be on Saturday. Kumar Rocker at Cleveland on Thursday. Not the worst. Don't mind doing that. But yeah, that's going to do it for that segment. I think I just went through most of the players who are open to be streamed. But teams, when I look at that, teams that I want to stream against, number 1, San Francisco Giants, their ass. Number 2, Texas Rangers, yes, please. Any of the AL Central teams. I don't care who they are, except for maybe the White Sox. Any of the AL Central teams, the Marlins. The Mets, absolutely streaming against the Mets. They still suck. Pittsburgh. I still don't mind streaming against Pittsburgh. Their lineup's volatile. The Angels. Please stream against the Angels. Okay, guys. Well, that's going to about do it for this week's segment. Thanks for listening. Hope I helped you guys out. And good luck and keep fighting for next week. Get some wins, fellas. Bye-bye.